In a shocking twist at PAX East, Gearbox made an announcement that few people saw coming. Tales from the Borderlands Season 2 is coming out this year. Welcome to Consequences, the only channel that matters, where we get a stiffy for choice-heavy games like Tales from the Borderlands, The Wolf Among Us, and Life is Strange. Hit that subscribe button for content about these games and so much more. That's a pretty quick turnaround from announcement to release. Tales from the Borderlands Season 2 is being developed in-house by the Gearbox team. CEO Randy Pritchard saved the announcement till last before ending the presentation. Here's what he had to say.
I know many of you love the Borderlands universe, the stories told within it. We love it too. And we also know that many of you loved Tales from the Borderlands, right? Well, as you know, some of the characters from Tales from the Borderlands made their way into Borderlands 3. So we really love that format as a way to create characters, create new stories, and explore all of that differently than what's possible with the looter shooter games. Because of the success and our love for Tales, and because of our interest in developing the Borderlands universe in new ways, we thought it would be fun and exciting to dive into the format of interactive fiction once again. This time, we're doing it to imagine all new characters and all new stories from the Borderlands. So soon, we'll be announcing an entirely new game set in the Borderlands universe and presented in that style of interactive fiction. I'm talking about an all-new Tales from the Borderlands adventure. It's gonna be releasing this year. It's published by 2K Games, and it has been developed in-house by Gearbox Software. And it has all new characters and stories set in the Borderlands universe. We've been working on this experience secretly for many years. And I can't wait until it's time to announce this all-new game this summer and show all of you what we've been doing. So please be on the lookout this summer for the announcement of an all-new Tales from the Borderlands.
There have been rumours that Gearbox have been working on a new installment of the Tales from the franchise for a number of years now, and Randy Pritchard has given us our first hard confirmation that this game has been in development for a number of years. The first Tales from the Borderlands game was released in 2014, developed and published by Telltale Games. Following the unfortunate closure of the studio in 2018, Tales from the Borderlands was pulled from storefronts, with its future being left up in the air. 2K Games, the publisher for every other Borderlands game, were able to negotiate the rights to the game, and it was placed back on sale in 2021. Mr. Pritchard notes that they're interested in developing a narrative-driven game because, as a looter shooter, Borderlands isn't always able to delve into the lore as much as they might like. This echoes a lot of the same sentiments that led to the creation of the first game and collaboration between Gearbox and Telltale. Borderlands is a lore-rich universe with dozens of interesting characters that lend themselves well to a narrative storytelling. Creating interactive adventure games allows for the company to explore the lore in a more structured way that many open-world games can't do. The Telltale Games are as close to television storytelling that games get, and while they may not be as action-packed, instead relying on puzzles and quick-time events, they have a way of connecting with an audience and really making the player feel a part of the story. It's important to note that this is not being developed by Telltale Games, who have absolutely nothing to do with this sequel. Telltale unfortunately shut down in 2018, but has since been resurrected under a new team who are using the name, but it's not the same people. It's a little bit confusing, and now they're making The Wolf Among Us Season 2 using some of the team that originally worked for Telltale when they made the first The Wolf Among Us, but have since been fired by the company in that horrible situation, and now have their own company, but they're teaming back up with Telltale to make The Wolf Among Us 2. But this game is being developed in-house at Gearbox, nothing to do with Telltale whatsoever, so it's likely that this game will not adhere to the exact same playbook that we were used to with the games like The Wolf Among Us, Batman, and The Walking Dead. By the end of Telltale's initial run, the formula was starting to get a little worn, and the game engine, their in-house Telltale tool, was becoming too outdated. The good news is that the new season of Tales from the Borderlands will be free from the constraints of this engine, likely to be developed using the Unreal Engine, which Gearbox has used to develop Borderlands and Tiny Tina's Wonderland. As we've seen with the trailer for The Wolf Among Us Season 2, Unreal is perfectly capable of emulating the style of graphics and gameplay that Telltale became known for. And since development is being handled in-house at Gearbox, it's likely that this game will keep the classic comic book style of the Borderlands series. The first Tales from the Borderlands was the most narrative-heavy installment of the franchise that introduced a slew of new characters, including Rhys and Fiona, who found themselves butting heads against sisters Fiona and Sasha. Even if you haven't played the Tales from the Borderlands first season, some of these characters may be familiar to you. Both Rhys and Fiona appear in Borderlands 3, although their adventures and tales aren't really referenced, and they're not played by the same voice actors, and their behaviours are a bit off, and it kind of doesn't feel like the same people, but that's cool. Whatever, at least they were in it, I guess. The first season had a couple of lingering storylines that it doesn't sound like Telltale fans are going to get an answer to in the second season. Randy Pritchard tells the audience on more than one occasion that this will be all new stories with an all new cast. So those wanting resolutions to the ending of the first season shouldn't hold their breath. What happened when Rhys and Fiona walked through the vault? Maybe we'll never know because Borderlands 3 didn't bother to tell us. All we know is that Rhys made it back and Fiona is nowhere to be found. Which leads me on to the second mystery. Where the freak is Fiona? It wouldn't be that surprising if Rhys betrayed Fiona and left her behind to save himself. It's very on brand for Rhys and the Borderlands franchise as a whole. Now, we shouldn't give up hope that these characters won't be in the game. Even if the focus will be on new stories and new characters, that doesn't mean fan favourites won't show up. And if we kick up enough of a fuss, maybe they'll release a Fiona standalone episode. Wouldn't that be nice? Soon after the announcement was made, many fans of the franchise were worried about the story in this game, feeling that the writers at Gearbox aren't as good as the writers at Telltale. It's a fair criticism due to the nature of both games. One does demand a better quality of storytelling to pull off. However, just because the game's being developed in-house at Gearbox doesn't mean it's being exclusively written by their writers. The writers at Telltale are some of the best narrative-driven storytellers available, and with the closure of the studio, they have the freedom to work wherever they want. Many of the team at Telltale that worked on Tales from the Borderlands went on to form their own studio, Ad Hoc Studios, including writers and directors. Since forming the studio, they have teamed up with the new iteration of Telltale Games to work on The Wolf Among Us Season 2, as well as an unannounced original project, which shows that they're not afraid to go back to the properties they were working on before. They still have a deep love for the characters and the mode of storytelling, so it's comforting to see that those writers are still available to work on these projects, and that means they could have been contacted by Gearbox to help them out. But with Gearbox choosing to focus on new characters, I would say the chances of that happening are probably quite slim. But what's to say they haven't been contacted and aren't contributing to the direction of Tales from the Borderlands Season 2? It could be happening, but until more details about the game comes out, we're not going to know. The PAX show gave very little away apart from a single image and a promise to announce the game in the summer.
And I can't wait until it's time to announce this all-new game this summer.
But wasn't that the announcement? And with the game premiering later this year, there must be more to show. When do you think we'll see more of Tales from the Borderlands? Are you happy, sad, indifferent about the announcement? Drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new video, and smash that like button to send good vibes to YouTube. It helps me out. Thank you.